right, welcome to the Levi Blue Show, where we talk about life, overcoming daily struggles, and everything in between. I am your host, Levi Blue, and we have our co-host, Stephen J. Dow. Stephen, say hello to the people.
Hello, everybody. God bless you.
So, Stephen, are you excited about what we're going to be doing?
I am. I'm very excited about this.
What would be, when I first asked you about this, what were your thoughts about doing a podcast with me?
You want my true thoughts?
Yes, I do.
Why me?
Okay, why not?
That was the conclusion. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Well, you know, that's one thing that I learned years ago is when someone would say why not?
Why not?
You know, so yeah. But yeah, we're gonna have some fun, and we're gonna talk about daily struggles and life and just everything in between. And as you would say, you are what? Are you in between?
I am in between.
You're.
I told you that earlier. Yes, sir.
So. Well, you know, to answer the first question is that I have for this podcast is why a podcast? And, you know, I have a following with music, and people who have followed me the last 12 years since I've rededicated my life to Christ. And I think a lot of people wonder, what are my thoughts on certain discussions? What are my thoughts on life and certain things? Because with music, I only give you a portion. I only give you a piece. But to have a conversation with me is a lot different than listen to me in music. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. But let's answer the question, why? Why music for you? What was your expressive force behind it?
Just to express myself of who I am as a person. But music is only a piece of me. You'll never ever get a full dose of me through music, only because I only give you little nuggets. You know, with music, it's never a full paragraph. It's just like little bitty droplets. You know, because music is in poetry form. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So. Another one would be I decided to do a podcast because I want to encourage people to talk about certain issues and discuss how we overcome life's challenges and how you and I overcome life's challenges. But the cool thing is I picked you is because you're a lot older than me. You have a lot more wisdom than me.
Well, thank you.
But also just from your perspective, as just with your age and with my age, you know, that's a huge gap there, but we see the world from two different perspectives. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So I'm excited about that. And then another form, this is an art form. This is a way that we can engage people because people like to listen to people talk for some reason nowadays. I don't know why,
Right.
but they do. You know, and you and I we all have struggles. And I mean, you don't have any struggles, do you?
No, I don't.
Yeah, me neither.
No,
I didn't.
I'm cool, man.
You know, I really I wanted to start a podcast back in 2016, but the time wasn't right. And so I'm kind of glad we get to do it now because I don't think back then I was ready.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was 28 years old or 27 years old. So I'll be 36 this year, which is kind of cool.
Right.
So you don't have to tell your age if you don't want to. So.
I don't mind telling people I'm 65.
60?
I'm blessed I made it this far.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why I picked you is because I like you. I think you and I have a good zeal together. I think we can make people laugh. And so I like to laugh and have a good time. So I'll go back to the question, what were your thoughts when I first asked you to be the co-host with me?
Without sounding egotistical or anything, I've always wanted to be in TV.
Yeah.
Or in a movie.
Yeah, me too.
When I was growing up, we had movies, and I always thought, man, I can do that. So I used to watch the movies and watch the camera guys, the way they moved, the angles,
Yes.
the situations, how they filmed in, filmed out.
That's good.
Now, why a podcast? Why be a part of it? Because you asked me, and God never puts anything on your plate that He doesn't want you to participate. And in that, there's a lot of fear, a lot of self-view that we have to overcome to do God's work and to figure out what it is. And I'm sorry to the audience if I appear like all I think about is God, but it's my blessing to know that He is around us.
Well, I think we'll get into that, why you have that perspective, because a lot of people don't know our backgrounds. You know, some people do and some people don't. But let me ask you this question. What do you hope that people gain from listening to you and I?
A better sense of life.
That's good. Better sense of life, yeah. You know, just maybe also have a sense of humor because, you know, people tend to, everyone's so uptight, everyone's so offended at everything. It's what's the old cancel culture thing, you know, it's like, okay, come on. We don't have time for all that. So
That's right.
You know what I mean? So All right. Well, I'm going to take a break real quick, and we're going to get back right back to this. All right, we're back. So, Stephen, are you having fun so far?
Haven't quite reached the fun part yet, but it's very new. It's a good experience, and something inside is rejoicing about it. Yeah.
So, with that, I want to ask, we're in a new year. We're in a new time. We're in a new year. How has 2024 been going for you?
It's been rough.
Has it?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Absolutely. My family's not where I expected them to be. I'm not where I expected to be, but I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
That's good. That's good. What are some things that you've learned in the last few? What are we in February now? So, what in the last month? What do you think that God's been teaching you?
To let Him drive. I know that's so cliche right now, but the thing is just step back and keep doing what puts money in your pocket, but let God do the rest.
Amen. Yeah, I think sometimes we tend to we forget to not let God be God.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
We tend to be what we want to be, or we tend to, God, I want you to lead my life, but I'm going to take the steering wheel. But it doesn't really work that way, does it? No. God, you can actually sit right there, but I'll be driving.
Yeah.
And God's like, okay, well, I'll let you drive until you crash it, and then I'll take over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, what are some things that you look forward to in 2024?
Somebody told me at the beginning of the year I was going through a situation, and they gave me some advice when I asked, what do you see for my life? And he said, oh, you're about to blossom. He said, you have no idea you're going to blossom in this year. And so I'm waiting to see the blossom.
What do you think that means? What does that mean to you when someone says, hey, you're going to blossom? Like a flower? Or like what are we talking about here?
I don't... That's a good question, Levi. You're very skilled at this, aren't you? The blossoming can be financially, it can be physically, it can be mentally, but I pray it's always spiritually.
That's good. That's good. So with that, with what we're just talking about, I want to pull up this quote that I have. I think it's very beneficial. And actually, Mark Twain said this. He said, what are the two most important days in your life? The day you were born, the day you find out why. I think that's a very vital thing that we tend to forget, and it goes along with being blossoming because, we go through life and you're like, okay, God, what are we doing? And I asked the question in 2024 when we first, when everything started happening, I was like, okay, God, what are we doing here? What's my purpose?
Yeah.
Or has my purpose changed? And the answer's no, it hasn't changed. It's still the same.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, when you see that quote by Mark Twain, what are some thoughts that you think? What did he mean by that? Like, there's two important days: the day you were born, the day you find out why.
Because when you're born, you're given the opportunity to become anything you want to be, anything you choose to be.
That's true.
We're given a clean slate at birth.
Yeah.
And then, now this is deep, and I am that guy. I will get there. But when you figure out why, everybody finds out why for their life, whether they're in the dark or they're in the light. It's why. Why is this? Why me? Well, the why is simple, because you chose to be there. The purpose in your life is what you're seeing, and now you have the opportunity to change it, to turn. As you see where you're at, you're either uncomfortable with it or you're comfortable with it.
That's okay.
If you're not seeing good, then it's time to change.
What happens if somebody has not dealt with good cards? What would be the direction on that? Obviously you and I, we have two different backgrounds, but my dad wasn't around when I was growing up. So, but at the same time, God has still used my life to mold me into who I am today. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? So.
Okay, you use the metaphor or simile, whatever the word is, of cards. Okay, so we're at a poker table. I don't like the cards I'm dealt. I'm given an option, fold or stand. I'm going to fold. Yeah, if I'm given a situation that I don't like, I'm going to fold. I'm not going to hold on to the hand. I'm going to wait for the next round of dealing and see whether I get better cards.
Okay.
Now, let me put that into a different perspective. People who are rich in monetary gain, born into well-good families, also suffer from the same things that we suffer without that stuff. Broken homes, divorce, non-parents who are parents, all the reasons to go wrong. And they do. Some do, some don't.
Yeah, I also wonder, we go back to the why question of things. Why do things happen to us the way they happen? You mentioned about cards, and people tend to, when they get cards that are dealt with, that they get dealt, and a lot of people just kind of take the cards and just keep them.
Yeah.
And then they'll never change, and they just kind of, well, this is what I was dealt with. Like you said, though, I can fold and I can get a new hand.
Yeah.
I can get a new opportunity because every day is a new opportunity. You know what I mean? So why do you think that people tend to hold on to their cards knowing that this is a poker game, so to speak, that they can fold it and draw a new card or a set of cards?
Well, you put two questions there.
Yeah.
You put one question of why. The whys are deep. It's the emotional trauma, the damage to the brain, the thought process.
That's good.
Some people don't have the ability to rethink a situation because they never learned that it is a choice. You're a pastor, aren't you?
I am a pastor, yeah. Associate pastor, yeah.
So you like Jesus.
I love Jesus,
and
yes.
you love the New Testament.
Absolutely.
And in the New Testament, you're commanded to go out and do certain things.
That's correct.
That's to go out and one by one bring people into the fold, correct?
Yeah.
With your ministry, with your personality, with your music.
Right.
With your heart.
Yep.
Whatever tool. Paul said something like, I am many things to many people so that I might win them to Christ. That means you have, a personality that spins. I can be this, I can be that, I can be this. I don't have to be this all the time to be that. I have multiple personalities. That's not a disorder, mental people. It's the knowledge that I have the gift that God gave me, clear insight to change others. A soft-spoken word, a smile, an overlarge tip to a waitress who's struggling. Generosity, I guess you would call it.
Well, I think there's different ways we can engage with people. Some people we can talk, you talk to a child, you're going to talk more of a lower tone. You're going to talk to them in a way on their level. You talk to someone who's hurt and broken, you're going to probably try to get to that common medium to say, hey, I understand where you've been through, but you can basically at that point we're going to lift them up. You know what I mean? So, right. When you mentioned about the different personalities, I just look at it. We talk to people on different levels because each one of us are on different levels. And I'll go back to what you mentioned about our life. My brother used to always say that life is what you make it.
Yeah.
And I for a long time I didn't like that term because in a biblical sense I was like, well, I don't agree with that. But and more I thought about it is God has given me gifts and God's given me talents, and what I do with them is I need to do it back unto Him. But at the same time, if I'm not going to use them, what happens? You lose it, right? To a large degree. It's kind of like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. Yeah. And so, but now I've gotten older, I realize life is what you make it. I can sit in the corner all day and do nothing.
Right.
But if I take the gifts that God's given me, then God has something to use and work through that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
All right.
But in your realization, in the knowledge of it, when you pray in the morning, when you speak to God, or if a person's prone to affirmations,
right,
you're already seeding your day. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
You already made a conscious effort to change where you've been. You've learned that over time. Some people don't learn that. And I've met people, because I myself have done this, had to eat out of a garbage can. But I love that. It's not so much that I did it, but if you're not changing your life for the better, you're still eating out of the garbage can. You could be sitting at a king's table. Wow. And gorging yourself on food.
That's good.
But you're eating out of the garbage can because you refuse to take what God gave you, a cleaner life. He doesn't want us suffering like that. And people don't realize the suffering they're doing until one day it blows up and they're on their knees. Praise God they get there, you know. Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, I think we've had a pretty good podcast. I think this is a pretty good first episode. What do you think?
A little heavy on one
We
end.
did. But you know, I think it was good. I think it got people to kind of see, you know, who we are, and you know, we love God, but also we're still normal people. You know, people put you on a pedestal, and it's kind of sometimes it gets ridiculous, but it's okay. We'll survive. And so, but I'm your host again, Levi Blue. Stephen, say goodbye to the people. We love you guys, and we will talk to you soon.
Did you want me to say goodbye?